Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is Thursday, February 20th, 2019. And as you can see, we have a little bit of snow going on here at the homestead. Now I gotta tell you, this morning, it was sunny. So, good old New York. There's the old joke, wait 5 minutes and the weather will change. So yeah, so right now we're getting a little snow, as you can see. But that's okay, it happens. Before we get into the topic today, I wanted to talk about really quickly. I will be on Marfugal News tonight. So if you want to, and I think it's a D-Link or D-Live? D-Live, I'm sorry. D-Live is what, that's where he will be doing his show. And so I will be joining him tonight. Now, time-wise, he hasn't gotten back to me yet for sure, but we tried to do it at 8 o'clock last time, so I imagine it's going to be around that same time frame tonight. So if you would like to come over there and show support and show Marv some love, that would be great, because I will be on him with his show tonight. So probably 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 p.m. West Coast time. For sure, we'll have to, like I said, definitely check over there with what he's got posted, okay? So just putting that out there for you guys. So, yeah, it's really coming down pretty good. I'll tell you what, it's funny, because you get up in the hills, and it's a whole different weather than when you're down in the valley. It's amazing. We can have snow up here, and they can have nothing in the valley. Now, it's snowing down in the valley, too, I'm just saying, but it's coming down pretty good. Okay, so I want to get into topic here real quick. Let's talk about the topic. So we're going to talk about doctors, okay? And I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine, and here's a really good example of doctors, all right? So he had his son, they figured that the son may have strep throat. So they take the son to the doctors, and so the doctor does the culture comes back negative, but the doctor says to me, he goes, you know what? I've been doing this for years. I guarantee your son has strep. He said, I'm going to get him started, on some treatment and stuff like that. So he's like, okay. And so a couple days later, his condition got worse. He takes him back to the doctor. And the doctor's like, yep, absolutely, it was strep. I knew it. You know why the doctor knew it was strep, guys? Because he sees it all the time. These doctors, when they're used to dealing with things and they see things all the time, they get used to that, okay? So what is my point? What's my point I'm trying to make here? My point is, with the coronavirus, or the COVID-19 as they're calling it now, this is an unknown. The signs and symptoms of it are the same exact thing as the flu. So, the doctor can't look at somebody and go, oh yeah, you definitely have the COVID-19 instead of the flu. They don't know. They're going to speculate as much as anybody else. Now they may, have to have some test run to make sure what the person has. But again, there's a lot of unknowns with this whole thing still. And here's what I want you to remember too, guys. Okay, even though this has been going on in China for a while, and everything with China, this is a relatively brand new thing. It hasn't been out that long. So this may drag out for a while, unfortunately. And if we end up having, a more severe outbreak, I'm sure, like I said, I personally believe, well, it's already here. We already know it's in the United States. But how badly it's in the United States is definitely open to speculation and interpretation and guesswork. And again, as I have said before, the U.S. government is going to keep things under wraps, just like the Chinese government tried to do for as long as they can to get it under control, contain it, and do whatever they have to do. I'll tell you right now, if there was like a small town, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say there's a small town, and there's a real bad outbreak in that small town, and they realize that, they're going to shut that town down. They're going to quarantine that town off and they're going to try to stop it as quickly as they possibly can. Now, trying to quarantine the whole state or large swaths of areas like China has done, that would never work here in the United States because people are too pig-headed, too stubborn, not going to deal with it. So, there's where you're running into your issues with that. But something to think about, okay? But again, it can happen. Wouldn't surprise me if it happens at all. Again, like I said, the doctors, they have a lot of knowledge and they have a lot of information, but with this brand new virus, with the coronavirus, they don't, and that's the thing too. They don't know what they're looking for. They don't know all the signs and symptoms. They don't know what the true incubation period of this thing is. Is it 14 days? Is it 24 days? Some people that are sick with the virus don't show any kind of fever and stuff like that, but they are asymptomatic, and they are contagious, and they're infecting other people. There's things that we do know. We do know that it's airborne. We do know it can survive on a surface. Now, again, I have heard 9 days on the surface. Is that I can say in concrete, yes, it's 9 days? No, I can't say that concretely because I don't know. Again, they're doing a lot of guesswork as well. They're trying, and I'm going to tell you what, I can honestly say I believe in my heart that they're trying to find everything that they can do and do everything that they can do to try to stop this thing. That's exactly what they're trying to do. Because, if this is as bad as it indicators to be, then this could be a really, really bad bug. So I wanted to talk about something else too, and talk about firsthand information, right? So my daughter, as I told you guys, 2 of her roommates are Chinese, and they live in New York City. So I know. Actually, I talked with the girl today. Okay. And her sister had recently been over to China. So we were talking about that. And so I said to the sister, not the sister, I said to my daughter's roommate, I said, so what part of China? Which she never really actually answered me on what part of China. So I will say that. But so I said to her, she goes, well, the other sister's boyfriend, who the sister had gone to visit, said that he has lost relatives over there already. Then it is much worse than is being reported in the news. So, again, you take everything that you see with a grain of salt. You take every grain of information that you have, you process it, you look at it, you try to figure it out what is going on, okay? But again, are we being given all the information? Of course we're not. We never would under any circumstances, even if it was a breakout that happened here in the United States. They're not going to give us all the information. For the simple fact, and I talked about this last night in my stream, they don't want panic. People in America, we would panic for the most part as a people, and people get scared and do stupid things when they panic. So that's what they're trying to avoid. So they're going to try to keep this under wraps as long as they possibly can. How long will this virus last? No answer to that one. No idea. Okay, they don't know. It's like people. I've heard everybody. Oh well, as soon as the warm weather comes, it'll die out. But over in Vietnam, it's in the 80s over in Vietnam, and guess what? They have 10,000 people quarantined off in Vietnam. So I don't think this thing is going to die off when the weather gets warmer. Again, and what we got to remember too, guys, and I want you to remember this, you're talking about a virus that will mutate. Not if, might, could, it will. All these viruses, they all mutate. Could it mutate to be stronger or weaker? Sure, it could, either one, okay? But again, we just have to, like what I've always talked about, what do we as individuals have control over? Hold on, I'm going to try to clean that off. Probably going to mess it up, make it worse. Hold on, guys. There's a little better. Okay. So what do we have control of? What we have control over is what we can do as individuals to prepare to be ready as much as we possibly can be. I've been talking with several other preppers, and they have their prepping in high gear, which I have as well. I will always not give you advice and not do the same exact thing. And so I have been prepping as well. You guys, I've showed you some of the stuff that I have done, and I've talked about it. Like I said, I went yesterday and I picked up more food yesterday, and I got a few other things that I wanted to pick up as well. So it's just, we don't know how much time we have. People say, well, how long do we have before we have to shelter in place? No idea, guys. No idea. We're going to have to play it by ear, Pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention, and I said this last night in my stream as well, pay attention to what's going on with the hospitals. If you see a huge influx of people with the flu all of a sudden going to the hospitals, that's a pretty good indication that something else is actually going on. Again, we need to pay attention. We're not being given the whole truth, and that's the important thing that we need to remember. So we need to evaluate things logically, use our brains, not be stupid, do not panic. Panic is the enemy. Panic is never the answer, okay? So I did want to remind everybody, today is Thursday, my sale on my website at preparedness1.com for the freeze-dried legacy food, that will be ending on Sunday, okay? So if you would still like to take advantage of that, 20% is taken off of whatever the price is at checkout. And so definitely take advantage of that if you want to add to your freeze-dried food storage. I have said right along, whatever your flavor is, if you don't like Legacy, or if you like Mountain House or Augustin Farm better, more power to you. As long as you're adding to your preps and as long as you are helping yourself, that's what I want more than anything else. I want you guys to be able to help yourself. Now, if you do buy Legacy food, it does help out the channel. I will tell you that. So I just wanted to put that out there as well, because I'm going to always be honest. But it's a prep that I have myself that I use for my long-term food storage. And so I'm going to tell you right now, I have Mountain House, I have Augustin Farm, I have Legacy freeze-dried food. So I have all three of them, okay? And so, I try to prepare as best that I can and do the best that I can to be ready for whatever contingency happens. We are given a window of opportunity here with this thing. That window is rapidly closing, okay? So, again, get food, get supplies, get medical supplies. Again, what you need to remember too, if you just regular everyday Advil, Tylenol, whatever you use, stock up on that too, guys. With everything that's going on in China right now, China's closed for business. Things are not being produced. People are, dying in large quantities over there. So the factories are closed. They're not producing things like they were before. I mean, so we need to pay attention to those things as well, okay? When you have the different inspectors, American inspectors, that are being pulled out of their different areas of China because of what is going on, that should tell you a lot. Pay attention to what the other governments are doing as well. When you have North Korea closes their border, when you have Russia closes their border, that should tell you something. When we put in travel restrictions on people and we're not letting certain people into the country right now, that should tell you something. Again, there's a lot going on, a lot we need to pay attention to. We need to read through the BS. That's really, really important. Again, I will say it again, prepare to shelter in place. I have said this right along. I think that we have an opportunity to get as ready as we possibly can, and the best time to do it is before all the sheeple wake up and take their blinders off and go, oh my God, I better go get stuff. Because by that point, if you haven't prepped by that point, by the time you get there, everything may be gone. And I don't want to be out in the stores with every lunatic in the world that hasn't prepared and is now scrambling at the last minute to try to get things. So it's just smarter to get things ahead of time. I don't know if I told you guys yesterday or not, so I will tell you today. I ended up pulling 10 eggs yesterday from the chickens. They gave me 10 eggs yesterday, which was fantastic. I was like, oh, awesome. That's the highest total I got since we got the new chickens in the fall. And so we had the adjustment period, and then it got cold, and then nobody was laying, and now they're laying again. And so far today, we've already got 5 more eggs today so far. So, we'll see where the total ends up later today. But just putting it out there for you guys. So listen, I'm going to jump off here from now. I want to hear your feedback. What do you think of the doctors? I mean, fighting or trying to diagnose things that they don't really have all the information for. Very, very difficult. They're in a very, very difficult position, okay? And then you put added pressure on by the government not to report different things that are happening. That makes it that much more difficult. So anyway, remember guys, we are all in this together. That is important to remember. Also remember, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day, tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. And also remember guys, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you are trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that can stop you from doing it is you. That's it. Nobody else can stop you, okay? Stay positive, stay away from the negativity, and you will be fine. I will talk to you all later. I will see you guys tonight, 8 o'clock with Marv. Okay, I think it's going to be 8 o'clock Eastern time. which would be 5 o'clock West Coast time. So I will be on his show tonight. So if it's not that time, check with him and make sure what time we're going to be doing it. But I believe that's what we were going to do, because that's what we were going to do last time, and we had an hour delay and didn't get on until 9 o'clock last time. So, but definitely check that out. It should be more interesting stuff. Good topic. We had some great conversation last time, and I'm sure it'll be more of the same this time. So anyway, guys, I hope everybody's doing well. I will talk to you all later. Have a great day. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.